Hello everyone, JRDL96 here with a brand new reaction. As you can tell by the title, it's another Markiplier video, and it's another Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location Custom Night video. And this is the last one of the Custom Night series, and it's the Golden Freddy mode. And I did check how much character count, and it's only just called Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location Custom Night Golden Freddy mode. So there's no part 5. So I think I'm good. You know, 61 characters, and you can add reaction, and it just makes it over 70. So you're fine. So I'm good. So last video, he completed the last 3 that he had to do, and the last 2, and like the last, not last 3, I think the last 4, because last 4 and the last 2 of them in particular had the cutscene with Purple with Michael Afton, and the last one showed him throw up innards. And Baby saying you won't die. He comes back to life somehow magically, and he's just a walking, skin sack. That's it. But this one is more interesting because of, I believe Mark does beat this. He said this is impossible. Scott even said he hasn't beat it on very hard mode. But I guarantee you, he has. But I do know this because of the ending cutscene, the music, and I'll explain that a little bit later, or, maybe right now. But you know what? I'm just gonna wait. up until the part, Or by the way, yeah, I remember years ago doing a video for one of my internet friends named Lindsay using that music. So, with JR Die. So, yeah, I'll link it in with a card at some point in the video, so you can see for yourself. But anyways, let's just get right into this and see what happens. So without further ado, let's react to this video, shall we?
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier and welcome back to Sister Location Custom Night. We're going to be attempting the Golden Freddy Challenge, also known as 10-20 mode. The ultimate challenge in Sister Location. Now, I want to say sorry for the long gap between this and the last episode. I know it's been a while, but there were things that were out of my control. I wanted to try it before I left for the UK, but I didn't have time in terms of preparing other videos and going and doing the charity live stream, and then coming back with this horrible sickness that has been with me for about a week now.
Bronchitis.
And also doing the 12 days of Christmas. It's all been a smorgasbord of work and sickness, and I really wanted to try this before Scott made it easier. And Scott did make it easier by giving more power during this specific night. I'm going to be doing this, and thankfully, considering my voice is thrashed, I will be able to do this without talking, and I'm going to concentrate at this very hard, and then afterwards I'm going to talk to you guys about my thoughts and strategies and my thoughts about this story, because supposedly there's a hidden cutscene if you beat this mode in the game.
Yeah.
And I'm very eager to see it because I have not seen it. I have not looked up anything else about this game. I have not looked up any strategies. All I'm going into it is with my strategies, a little warm up on easy mode, and that was easy mode. It's super easy. It's literally everything's at 3. It's super easy, so that's no test. I just wanted to do that as a flexibility test and to see if I remembered all the mechanics. But without further ado, I'm going to be trying very hard mode, and let's see how long it takes. It is currently Tuesday, December 20th. It is now 12:36 p.m. I'm going to let you know the exact time that I am done. Ready? Here we go.
And action.
Hi, it's now day 2. I still feel a little sick, but I feel a little better than I did yesterday.
Oh my god.
I've got the basic strategy down. I've gotten very close. I've gotten so close, and I just need to adjust my strategy about Foxy, because what I didn't realize is that Foxy does drain power when he hits the door, so I just need to make sure I watch Foxy a little more, which requires some minor adjustment, but if I do that, I should have enough power, no problem, and this should be in the bag. But I just got to make sure that my reaction times and my concentration
yeah,
are up,
that sucks.
and that's a bit of a struggle right now, but I've almost got it, so this should be it. This should be good. Hi guys, I just wanted to do kind of a developer commentary about this because once again I was too busy concentrating to be able to talk while I'm playing, and I apologize because my voice is still
sick,
very raspy. I am still sick, but
with bronchitis. I remember that.
Sift through the chaos here, because if you're watching this, and this is a very sloppy opening anyway, so it seems extra chaotic, but to be perfectly honest, this particular
I don't really care about that answer myself.
mode is not that bad once you get the rhythm of it, and once you are able to pay attention and focus on multiple different things. It actually turns into an experience that
especially
is
with the mini
not too
arenas, that's gonna be a
complicated
bitch because of
it is
Bonnet.
predictable.
With Bonnet
When
coming
you
on
have
screen, the
different
mini arenas
ability,
make it harder to
it becomes
see.
easier and easier through repetition. Now, this was difficult because my reaction times were lower because I was sick, but I'm not making any excuses about it.
Right.
I believe that anyone would be able to do this.
I'm not
if
making
they
any
have
excuses
enough
about it.
focus.
Right.
So let me just go from top to bottom in terms of the enemies that I'm paying attention to. You may have noticed that I'm saying left and right. And that's just a reinforcement to know where Freddy is, because when he flips back and forth, it's easy to lose track of exactly where he is. I double reinforce
That
this by
frickin'
moving
honk.
the camera over to the
That's
side
why
that
he says
he's
left
on,
or right.
And then I say it in my brain so I don't forget. And I say it every time that he moves so that I notice every time. So then I'm able to respond to his call out on whether he's on the left or the right side. So after that, the second responsibility is Foxy. You have to pay attention to Foxy, and this is a lot like Five Nights at Freddy's 1. You have to know where he is, or you have to keep the camera on him so he doesn't leave his tent. Because when he bangs on your door, much like Five Nights at Freddy's 1, he does drain your power.
He does.
Not as much as the original game. He only drains like 2 to 3%, as far as I know. But it's important to pay attention to him and keep track of him so he doesn't leave his tent much and go bang on your door a whole lot through the whole night. Now, this is difficult because the more you flip up your screen, the more you have to risk looking at Yendo. And Yendo is probably the thing that makes this the most difficult. If Yendo wasn't there, this would be so much easier, because Yendo is like a reaction time test. If you flip the screen down and he's there, you have to flip the screen back up. But there's also a small chance,
Kinda like Golden Freddy.
probably like a 30% chance that he's not there. And if your finger is twitchy, you'll flip the screen back up, and that's what I mean by slop. If you see me flipping the screen spastically, it's because, like there, right there, it's because I was stuck in a loop of instantly twitching it back up until he appeared, and then I was able to break out of the loop from my own finger. So he drains your oxygen, and he does it quick. So if you're not instant on bringing the screen back up, you're going to lose oxygen, and then you're not going to be able to see anything in the entire game, and then your focus goes off. And this game, or this particular mode, is broken down into 3 different senses. You have to see to be able to know in a little bit, and
It's so
Bonnet
weird that
and
he
Yendo is
kind
there.
of gets
You have to be
he's
able
giving
to
you this
listen to
commentary
when
on
Freddy's
how
doing
to
his
do it
thing,
and
when
based
Baby
on
Bat's
what's
doing his
happening.
thing, when Laura's doing their thing.
I don't think I could
And you
do
have
this
to have
on,
muscle memory
easy
to know
mode
where to put
or
your mouse for
even
the
on
cameras
hard mode.
and for Bonnet's nose.
I think this would
So
really
there's 3
drive me
different things,
insane.
and if you remove the ability to see,
I
then
don't
your
think this would be
your whole plan
possible on,
starts
like,
to unravel.
console or
Not that
whatever.
it's
Like
impossible,
Switch
but it
or,
is guesswork at that point.
Xbox or PlayStation. But
after
PC
that,
mode I think
Yendo
would be
is
good.
the hard one, and then everything else kind of falls into place. Bonnet is just like, can you put your hand on her nose? It's just kind of following her left. You try to keep your mouse at a same level on the screen every time you return back. And I think, thankfully, it defaults after you put the camera down. The mouse resets position to Bonnet's nose level, which makes it a lot easier. And then you just have to move it left. Next up is Ballora, and Ballora's easy. Ballora and Biddy Bab kind of fall into the same category. You're just listening. Ballora, you're listening until she gets really close. Biddy Bab, you only need to listen for
God,
the
the
metal
oxygen,
vent sound
he's
that
really
she
having
makes when she's
trouble
near
with that
your
oxygen.
door. When you hear that crumpling of
Oh
aluminum
my
metal,
God,
that means that she's
30%,
very
dude.
nearby, and you just need to throw that
Now,
at that door until you hear a
visibility
bang.
is gonna
You gotta
become
be careful when
so
you got
bad.
the doors down, waiting for
He's at
bangs
4
until all the
a.m.
bangs clear, and then you can go. And then the next thing that you have to worry about is in part and conjoined with flipping up the screen for Foxy. That's the Electrobab and the mini arenas that are messing with your power and your air.
God
So,
damn, he can't even get
thankfully,
past
this is where the
50%
pattern
because
comes in.
God
If
forbid
they do
he's
go
got to
in
deal with the
half,
goddamn,
you can get them so they sync up at the exact same time,
Yendo
and then
over
you can
there.
take care of them both at once, and it makes my life a lot easier because that's one more variable that I don't have to watch out for. It combines 2 things into just one thing. So you're technically only messing with 9 animatronics. After that, everything starts to fall into place, You've got a little bit in the back, and that's a little more muscle memory to move over to the LOL keys. But all this is like a balance of oxygen. Not so much power, because power wasn't too big of an issue because I was able to get through this with a few percentage left. But oxygen, being able to see above all else, was the hardest thing. And towards the end here, you can see it's getting really dark, very hard for me to see. And I suppose you could kind of cheat your way around that. You could brighten your monitor really high. You could turn the gamma up really high on your computer, and maybe you could kind of get through that. But I didn't want to do that because it seemed cheap. And so
he tried to be
this
authentic,
makes for
which
a
is
very
nice.
Complicated experience. You have to multitask on a lot of things. But it's not impossible, even though it seems like it might be. There's just a lot of moving parts and a lot of things that you have to pay attention to.
Oh,
and there goes Foxy.
20.
Thankfully, I'm already at the end of the road here, and I have officially won it. So, thanks for listening.
There you go. Yeah. Ouch. Here comes the cutscene.
I did it! I did it!
Father, it's me, Michael.
I did it.
I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me. I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find you.
Love that.
Oh, is
With a
that the next
spring
game?
trap.
I don't know.
Spring trap at the
I have
end.
no idea. Okay, that was an experience. Man, I'm full of pep. Adrenaline is coursing through my veins. Okay, so a few things about that.
Ending.
When I do think that it is probably impossible to beat it beforehand, because the nights beforehand were 7 minutes and 30 seconds long. This night is 6 minutes long. Each hour is a minute, and therefore there's a minute and 30 seconds of extra time that you would need to do to be able to beat it in its previous incarnation, or at least that's what I'm assuming it is in terms of him giving more power. But in all honesty, I don't think that would have been possible just because of how tight the constraints were. I was having so much problem yesterday is because
I felt like, you know,
you have
reenacting
to
that
to do
because,
these
again,
2020
I
modes, you
love
have to
that,
focus
and
for like
and it
6
just
to 8
reminded me of the
minutes straight,
whole
depending on the
thing I
game.
did for my friend.
And I would say this one's very hard, but not like the hardest I've ever done, mostly because it may seem complicated, but everything in this particular one has a rhythm. See, I was able to combine.
I'm surprised he was
the
able to survive,
electromath
especially
and
near the
mini
very
arena
end when it was so
into
dark
one.
and so hard
they
to
were
see.
in a set rhythm. They would go off at
God.
exactly the same time, so I was always able to predict that. And for a long time, I was
Yendo
just letting
was a
Foxy
bitch.
go because I didn't think that Foxy stole power like in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, but she does. So as soon as I accounted for that, I only needed a few more tries, and then I was able to beat it. Because yesterday, I realized that towards the later end of my
God,
attempts,
that hair.
that I was starting to feel so sick, and I was just like coughing up a bunch of phlegm, and it wasn't good. But today I felt peppier. Not the worst. I would put it just before the first Five Nights at Freddy's in terms of difficulty. All in all, not that bad. Kind of boring compared to the other ones in terms of just the monotony of it, because this one is very monotonous because it's the same thing coming at you again and again and again and again. You just gotta do the same thing over and over. But I would say a pretty good one, not bad at all. And that cutscene is very interesting because he said father, and he thought I was you.
And they thought I was you.
Did he?
Meaning
I
they
gotta think
thought.
about that. I wish I could watch it again. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna watch it again, and then I'm gonna come back and get more thoughts about it because I wasn't able to capture everything. But I'll go look it up in just a second. Be right back. All right, so I just watched back the cutscene, and there's a few interesting things to take note of it. Number one, the guy says his name was Michael, and number two, he's talking to his father. And number three, he's talking to him, telling him that he shouldn't be alive. Now, at the end of the cutscene, it showed the blown up wreckage of Five Nights at Freddy's 3 after the protagonist lights the fucker on fire and burns it all down. And it was revealed at the end of Five Nights at Freddy's 3 that Springtrap did survive that. So I can only assume that from this cutscene, Michael Afton, who I'm assuming that is because his father, they're all British. The person at the beginning of this game was Mr. Afton. And I'm
William
assuming
Afton.
that they're all the Afton family. And I'm even assuming that the daughter who keeps talking to her father, asking to go see Baby, and was eventually killed by Baby, was their daughter and Michael's sister. But all that aside, it showed Michael as Springtrap surviving the explosion, which we already knew for Five Nights at Freddy's 3, but that VO could have taken place at any time throughout. Now, there's been some theories saying that there are two
Purple guys.
And I could understand that in terms of like
Because
a
you got
father-son
Michael
duo. There
and then
could
you got
be
William.
Two purple guys in this and just kind of having a powwow of murdering.
Because
and
William
horrible
and Michael look
monstrosities of
similar to
death
one
and
another,
weird
blah, blah,
life.
blah. That's why they
And
were,
you
the
can kinda see it in
animatronics
terms
took
of
it
the
out
time.
on him.
Correct
Without
me if I'm
realizing
wrong.
it was
I might be
Michael,
wrong
that it
about
was
this
Michael
timeline,
Afton
but
and
I
not
believe
William.
it goes, the oldest is Five Nights at Freddy's 4, which was 1983 or 4, in the original Fazbear's Pizzeria. Fazbear's Fun Time, whatever it was called. I believe that was the original. Then, and in that, you can see cutscenes of Purple Guy not being a murderer, but just generally seeming like an employee, putting employees in suits of his horrible creations. Now, you go to Sister Location, where Michael is sent in by his father to try to piece together what's left of his sister and their daughter, and I can't help but be drawn to the comparison of Ennard to the puppet from Five Nights at Freddy's 2, because the
Really?
puppet in the mini games wanted to piece the dead children back together.
Give
Now,
gifts,
to what
give
end,
life.
I don't know, but this creation, whatever it is, Ennard somehow was able to give Michael Afton
Life.
near supernatural powers of
The
living
scooper, I
beyond
think,
death.
has
You
some
should
form
not be
of like
alive.
power
He
on
went
itself.
in
It kind of
Michael's
gives you
body,
some spirit.
transformed him into literal Purple Guy, and then was exploded out. Now, maybe that happened to their father. Maybe that was already the case. I don't know. It doesn't seem possible because everyone in the neighborhood was very intimidated by this purple fellow by the name of
Michael
Afton and Purple Guy walking around the streets. But it's all just very confusing, you know. And I say comparisons just by the button, the mask, the 3 to 4 fingers, the spiral leg matching the spiral pattern of the puppet, like, and the general marionette nature of this creation here. There's
I
a
don't
little
really
bit of me
see
and
it.
everybody
It's just
pulling
like,
the strings.
just
That's the only
design
thing
choices.
that I could thematically draw from that. And of course, I am not a master theorist. I know a lot about this,
Matt
but I
Pat
don't know
is.
everything. So these are only the conclusions that I can draw.
Even
So,
he did a
there
theory
may
about
be two
your
purple
videos,
guys.
Mark.
This was Michael Afton. His father is Mr. Afton.
William
and
Afton.
It's possible that his sister was the girl that was killed
Daddy,
by Baby,
why do you let
and he
me
was sent
play
on a
with
mission
her?
to try to put
Did
her
you
back
make her
together
just for
because
me?
his father literally created life in these machines, and somehow in a perverted way, maybe this purple guy who got forced into Springtrap and was haunted by the souls of dead children was corrupted in a wrong way, turning life into something perverted by something that is by itself
exotic
perverted
butters is
life.
right there.
Yes. It's all a very complicated story. Or
The
maybe
whole
it's
story,
simplified.
the whole timeline
Or
is
maybe. I would love to
convoluted
see
and
a grand
complicated to
outline
understand.
of everything
With
from
Five Nights
top
at
to bottom,
Freddy's.
but I feel like we are not quite there yet. I feel like there might be one more game going, or maybe not.
Well,
honestly, who knows?
yeah.
But this one, Sister
This is
Location
2016.
was
We had the
really fun. I
pizzeria
liked it. It
simulator,
was a welcome
custom
change from
night,
everything that I've seen
help
thus far.
wanted,
And it really
and now
hammered home the interesting
security
story
breach.
behind everything. And I like that a lot.
And it's
it
got
was a
cough
pretty
and
good
got
challenge in
canceled,
custom night.
which
I don't know
sucks.
if I ranked the difficulty, but I said Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Five Nights at Freddy's 1, this game, Five Nights at Freddy's 4, and then Five Nights at Freddy's 3. That's what I'd say in terms of difficulty for the 2020 modes. But either way, thank you everybody so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always, I will see you
in the next
video. Bye-bye!
Oh my. my god, this is epileptic as shit. Oh my god. Holy crap. Okay. Now, there's a lot of things to talk about. Obviously, the biggest thing to take away from is the fact that he tried it, like, on the 20th, and then he woke, and he couldn't do it. So after that, he went and did it the next day, when he was better, and had better, you know, because he was also sick, still sick at the time, so that didn't help matters either. And somehow, like, throughout the whole video, when he actually was initially doing it, he didn't really talk much. He was just saying left or right, depending on where, you know, Funtime Freddy or, you know, Ballora was. But he did like a voiceover over the video itself, talking about the strategy on what is going on and what to look for and what to hear and how to process what's going on. So, obviously, this is going based on his strategy, and obviously, it just looks so fucking crazy, especially near the end, because of Yen... I forgot the name already. You know, the freaking... What was it again?
Hello?
Yendo. Yendo is a fucking bitch, because Yendo drains your oxygen very quickly, and you already have to deal with those, you know, those little mini arenas that drain your oxygen anyways, or the bitty babs, whatever, which one it was. One of them, they drain your oxygen. And it doesn't help because then you have to constantly keep flipping up and down like this. Kind of like how when you did that with Golden Freddy. Like how Mark did with Golden Freddy when he first encountered Golden Freddy in the first game. Like all you have to do in order to not get a game over crash, you put it up and put it back down and he's gone. So... man, like, it's a lot of interesting stuff. But the interesting, obvious thing that it happens is the final cutscene at the end with Michael talking to his father, William Afton, talking about how he did it, he found them, they were right where they said it would be. They didn't recognize me at first. Then they thought I was you. I found her, I put her back together, she's free now, but there's something wrong with me, I should be dead, but I'm not. And I'm living in shadows, and there's only one thing left for me to do, and that's come find you. And during this whole dialogue, you see the burnt, charred remains of the location from Five Nights at Freddy's 3, Fazbear Fright. And we all know the story that happens because at the end, during the nightmare mode, whatever it's called, the 20 mode essentially, the protagonist, you, who plays the game, burns it down to the ground. You burn it to the ground. And presumably killing Springtrap. But if you brighten the image at the end on the newspaper clipping, you get Springtrap is still alive. And this cutscene confirms it, because the second after you hear the last "I'm going to come find you," you see Springtrap just pop in saying, "Hey, how's it going? I'm still alive." And then yet he's also now alive again because he came back in Pizzeria Simulator, gets burnt alive, and then recently with Security Breach, he came back as Burntrap. Let's ruin him more. At this point, he's like 90 years old. He's got nothing left. What the fuck? This whole universe is fucked up. You got literal sacks of skin fucking walking around with no insides. Like, it's getting ridiculous. You got purple guys walking around like fucking crazy lunatics. We got fucking animatronics possessed by children. You know, it's ridiculous. This whole universe, this whole game universe is absolutely absurd. Back then, it was so simple because there was like a handful of games. But then Sister Location, then the novels made it even more convoluted. It's just, this whole storyline has become absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous, dude. It's so ridiculous. And then you got to deal with the one spirit that, you should have not killed in Custom Night. It's like, oh, God, dude. What are you doing? And then you bring in Henry from, the novels and, FNAF world. And he sets everyone on fire, even his own daughter who possesses the puppet.
It's like, dude, come on, man. You've done your work. You can rest now. Only for one of you, the darkest pit of hell remains for you, old friend. You know that. Like, come on, man. So don't keep it waiting, old friend. You know, all that stuff. But why this, you know, cutscene kind of holds a little special place in my heart a little bit is because I remember 5 years ago, back when I started doing all the ego stuff for my YouTube channel with my characters, J.R. Dye. Well, J.R. Dye was really the only one at the time that I really mostly did in 2017 before I introduced the fan created character Wikipedia, and then I brought back JD Thrift, and then I introduced Xander and Dr. Spindler down the line, but back then it was just J.R. Dye really. I remember doing this just for fun, and it had nothing to do with anything with my, you know, the continuity of my character, the story, or whatever. I remember someone, you know, thought it was part of my, you know, canon. It was kind of canon in a way, but I don't really think it was. It's just one of those things I just did for one of my friends. So what I did was I did a little happy birthday message to my friend Lindsay, and I hid it in one of my, you know, gameplay videos with a card. I'm like, what? Like, and then at first she couldn't find it, and then she finally found it, and she was like, you Gemini, teehee. You know, that kind of thing. So it was like, when I look at it, it's so cringy. It was so fucking cringy. I cringed at it. I cringe at it now, but back then I thought it was great. But the triangles look so bad because I just did it. I did it very quickly. But I have a funny story about that. The day I filmed that, I remember I walked out after finishing it, and my dad and my mom were sitting at the table. And then my dad looked at me like, had this look of disappointment. He had this look of disappointment on his face. He's like, why do you got women's makeup on? And I'm like, no. And I said, I think I said this. I don't remember this. But I believe I said something along the lines of, this is not makeup. This is my war mask. So, this is my, you know, my evil character. My war mask. And he's like, and he said, I don't care if that's that. That's for women's makeup, man. My God. That was the funniest thing. I was dying of laughter at that. And then when I look back at that story, I still laugh at it. But then, you know, with The Undertaker, because I watched The Undertaker Last Ride documentary, and then he said, I don't wear makeup, man. This is my war mask. It made me laugh even more because it reminded me of the thing I did with J.R. Dye with, you know, and then my dad saw that when I did the happy birthday message for Lindsay. I wonder what she's been up to lately. Just probably living her life and stuff, being a normal Libra. That's her zodiac. That's why I call her a Libra. And she calls me Gemini because that's my zodiac. It's just a little inside thing that between us and stuff. Last time I talked to her was like a while, not like a week ago when Nintendo announced the Metroid Prime Remastered, and I said, next, can they announce Prime 4 now? Can they show us Prime 4 now? I regret doing not doing a reaction video to that, because I swear to you, I did this when I was at work, and I swear to you, my coworkers probably looked at me like I was a psycho. Because first they hit me with the Game Boy on Switch, and then they hit me with Game Boy Advance on Switch. I'm like, and I had my hands up like I was signaling a touchdown. And then they immediately hit me with a Metroid Prime Remastered. I'm like, I'm like fucking losing my shit. Oh my God, I was losing my mind then. But anyways, that was really the last time I talked to her. And I still talk to her once in a while. Like, we don't talk as much. Like, it's just because I've gone busy with my life, and she's probably gotten busy with her life too. So it's kind of like, you know, it's just, I haven't been as, you know, busy. You know, I've been mostly, you know, consumed, especially now with the fact that I have a girlfriend now. It's been very, you know, consuming, and I don't really have time to talk with all my internet friends like I used to back in the day. So it makes a lot of things harder. So I try to keep in touch with people, you know, that I remember years ago. Like, you know, Toxic, you know, or Cheyenne. you know, I kind of like keep in touch with them as much as I can. But anyways, enough rambling. Overall, I enjoyed the custom night, you know, mode. Like, I think it was a nice little bonus compared to what, you know, to the whole Five Nights at Freddy's. But honestly, like, the whole sister location is probably one of my favorite because of how different it was compared to the original. Compared to the other 4 games prior to this. That's why I find this more fascinating, you know? Because it was so different in terms of, like, you know, what's going on. It was like, wow, this is great, man. But now the biggest, obviously, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be asking me is, are you going to be doing the next game in the series, Pizzeria Simulator? Well, again, I don't really know. I haven't really seen, I didn't even see his playthrough of it. I've only seen the animation that, Lixian made, you know, and stuff. But that last video, like, he streamed like over 5 years ago with all the secrets, I'm probably not gonna do. I'm not gonna react to that. And obviously I'm not gonna do custom night because most of them are over an hour long. Fucking hell. And I don't think I'm gonna do even security breach. Because security breach is over an hour plus for most videos. Because again, I don't really think anybody's gonna be willing to sit down and watch an old full hour video of me just sitting there looking like this for most of it. You know? Like, it doesn't really, help. You know, I don't think it's not, a good thing, you know? That's why I wouldn't do it. So I have no idea. But hey, who knows? I gotta see like what the playlist looks like for Pizzeria Simulator, because he's done, I think he did 7 videos based on it. I have no idea. Let me see. I remember just seeing the animation. I remember seeing the animation for it. Yeah, there's 5 videos really, but hopefully you get the ending, hopefully, but I have no idea. Because I know the ending, so that makes sense. But anyways, enough rambling. I've rambled on long enough, but I hope you guys enjoyed today's reaction. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, share this video with your friends. Be sure to ring that bell to be part of the notification squad. Be sure to check out my Instagram, because I make cool edits. Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, even myself. I also do enactments of cosplays on there, so go check it out. And be sure to check out my Tumblr, my Discord in the description as well. So until next time, JRDL96 signing out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!